Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point, anybody else who would put out a group calendar, it's going to be like, it's almost like, oh, you're doing that because of the conservative dad calendar. It's like,
Heck
it's almost
yeah,
kind of
why
like
not?
a little bit ruined.
By the way,
Whatever.
that
I mean,
calendar
like,
is so PG. I mean,
It's
what?
hilarious that people are mad about that. I can't take them seriously.
It's like
It's
a
literally
fucking-
like girls
True.
in dresses.
I mean, why not ride the wave? I mean, this is clearly lasting for a long time. That's just called good business, you know. If you can like
Yeah.
swing
Grift,
off,
man.
if you can piggyback, I mean, sure, you could call it a grift, but like if you can make some cool merch, some funny merch off of the parody of this calendar, why not? Like, do you like
Hell
go
yeah.
give it a try?
I
I feel
that
like
idea.
Grifter has lost all meaning.
Yeah,
People
like
just call
not
everyone a
or
grifter.
Everyone.
I
But
remember-
that is,
But that is an actual grift though. Like the anti-woke thing is a
Yeah.
grift. Like
Yeah.
you people are making mad bank off like the anti-woke marketing of whatever it is. Like
What-
insert name
You know,
here.
what separates an anti-woke grifter from someone who is genuinely anti-woke? Whether or not they make
Genuine.
money?
Well,
No,
I mean,
just
you can
genuine
still be,
intentions.
you can
They're
still
just
be
genuine.
anti-woke and be participating in a grift off of the movement.
I have an answer for you. Mike Zero.
I don't
I'm
know who that
so-
is.
Who is
so
that?
shitty,
You guys,
retarded.
the
it's like a
fake Star
nerd
Wars
thing.
dude.
So Mike Zero, he just makes like 10 videos a day, and it's the same thing. It's complete bullshit. So he makes up rumors, makes a video on it, and he does that every single day. He doesn't.
I mean, you're
believe what he's
advertising
saying.
for him right now.
I
So,
know,
I mean, he's
but
doing
so,
something
well, you
right.
I
asked
didn't
for
know
an
who he
example.
was
I
before you
wouldn't say
mentioned
that
it.
that's anti-woke. I would say that that's just somebody that's just making content, doesn't care or believe about
Right.
what they're saying. They're just making content to make content. And so I think that's the difference between somebody that like actually cares.
Yeah, that's I agree with that. I feel like it's actual intent behind it. If someone legitimately feels the things that they're saying, then I don't think that's a grift. I think if they're saying it just specifically because they can get some sort of following behind them or make money doing it, then that's a grift.
Well, I mean,
Al-
even
also,
like
that
Sorry,
some
go
people they clearly don't give a shit about the cause. They just see the
Yeah.
money, and,
Yeah.
and they're not they're not
Mhm.
walking the walk. They'll talk the talk to sell whatever product. I think like even like Black Rifle Coffee or some other of those guys, like they sell it like, hey, we're right wing, and then when it comes down to it, they're full of
they're
shit.
super not-
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the I call out these like right wing, typically
What
MAGA
about Bud
grifters
Light?
all the time who like they'll say that they're America first and they'll sell America first merchandise, and then you'll get it in the mail and it's made in China. It's like, could you be any more of a hypocrite or a
Yeah.
or bullshit artist?
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
I-
like
you know,
Bud Light, because they were trying to capitalize on all the woke shit with Dylan. And then
Yeah.
on Christmas, we were watching like the football games, and it's like what Peyton Manning doing all the Bud Light, and it's like they're really trying to
Kid
like
Rock,
make
yeah,
a
like,
fucking
it's-
U-turn, and it's like you
Ugh.
guys don't care. You're just trying to do
they'll
what you
play
think is
whatever side
popular.
they think will
Yep.
bring them the
Yeah.
most money, and that's and but well, like I said before, I do genuinely believe you can participate in somewhat of a grift even if you believe fundamentally in what you're doing. But like holding, like I said, the reason that I brought up the MAGA people and the right wing people who get their stuff in China is like, at least stay true to your principles. If you're gonna sell like F Joe Biden gear, or you're gonna sell Let's Go Brandon, or if you're gonna sell America First gear, like, and I get something that's made in China, honestly, go fuck yourself. Like, you're the biggest liar and you're the biggest fake in the entire world. Why would anybody take anything you say seriously after that? Because it's clear what your intentions are in that one act. You know what I
Fucking
mean?
everything is made in China now. It's like good luck finding
Yep.
something that's made in the States.
Yep.
I
It's
can
crazy.
provide a list of
Wow.
print on demand people that will do American made products if that's something.
My
that people are gonna
calendar
do.
is made in America.
Oh, really? Good for you,
Yay.
Anna. That's
Anna,
great.
that's
Where is it
awesome.
printed?
Cecil, where is it printed? Actually, so it's Cecil's relative that got me in touch with this printer. So it's on the East Coast, though. I
Ooh,
probably
okay.
should
good.
find someone in
Long-
California.
Long Island,
I
yeah.
would love to give
Yeah.
them business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, same. If I do a calendar, that'd be cool. And I'm on the East Coast, so it's perfect.
I use a
you
guy
wanna-
in Michigan for mine.
Yeah, he's great, but
So
it's just expect it 5 months after you put in the orders. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you.
you're welcome.
So I put together a comedy show and called it like the anti-woke comedy tour, and it had me, Lila, Gino, Keanu, Tyler Fisher, would that be considered grifting?
No.
I think so. I think a little bit, like in the sense of like the marketing of it. Like you're not anti-woke yourself, but you're marketing it to the
Oh
anti-woke.
no, she's pretty
But I
anti
So
am
I
woke.
think it'll be
anti-woke.
like
She is very
I-
anti woke.
I'm very anti-woke. I would consider myself very anti-woke, very free speech.
It would- I would say, Chrissy, that it's like by definition may be considered a grift, but because it's fundamentally something that you believe, the only
Right.
reason it could be called a grift
Yeah.
is because it's something that you'd make money off of. Like
exactly.
that, like
cares?
in the
Yeah,
most
exactly,
Dress
Lila.
anymore.
in the
Who
most
gives a shit?
in the
Honestly,
most
I'm
autistic-
so sick of people saying, "Oh, it's a grift. You make money." Well, you know what? You should make money.
You should
What's
make
the
money.
problem with
Exactly.
making
This
money?
is what you
Literally
do for a
also-
living. What's the
life,
problem
though.
with doing it in the most
Also-
optimal way possible? And at the same time, you're not compromising your beliefs because these fundamentally are what you believe. If you weren't anti-woke and you said anti-woke stuff to make money, it would be different. It's like the people who say to me, like, oh, like if I
Yep.
came out and said leftist stuff, especially with my, we don't have to go into the last name thing, but especially with my last name, if I went full-blown leftist, I would be a millionaire. I would be all over the place like
Maybe
Kellyanne
you
Conway's
would. Maybe
daughter.
you wouldn't, though. You don't know that.
It would be
Wait.
far more likely. I've literally had left-wing producers tell me, like, you will be a millionaire if you just say this certain. These
Tim,
certain-
are you related to Anne?
yeah, she's my
They would
not
love
biolog-
that for you.
she's my aunt and my godmother, and but yeah, no,
Yeah.
people would love if I was like the like if I had an OnlyFans and if I was like F the Coulter family, like
Right.
female
Like
power,
Prince
all that.
Harry?
People would be super into it, and I just don't want to sell my soul. But like I said, it's
I
really
think-
about the belief behind it. So like, yes, Chrissy, would you call it? Could you call it a grift? Fundamentally, at the most autistic definition of the word, sure.
Yeah.
But you believe what you're saying, and you're doing it for the purpose of like sharing your art. So like, no, it's not like a bad grift. I think there is like, as is with everything else, there's room for gray in this situation. So it's like there's a good grift and a bad grift, and
I'm
We're-
really
good
like
grift and a
vibing
bad
with Kim
grift.
on this because I saw, like, for example, Jeremy from the Quartering tweet out like about that calendar thing and calling it a grift, and I was like, well, so what? Because that
Everything
means
you do is
there's
a
a
grift.
market. Like there's a market for anti-woke people, and then like if that's your thing, then yeah, you should step up and be like, hey guys, like I am anti-woke. Like Chrissy, like yes, you're anti-woke, so you're gonna be like, look, that is my market. That is the people I want if I can talk to.
We're just
So
trying to
I don't get
asses and
attacked. So I don't get attacked on my comedy show by a bunch of trans people because they know what they're coming to see, because they're coming to see an anti-woke comedian. That's my brand. So yeah, of course you're gonna like say that, but not that it doesn't mean that you're grifting,
Yeah.
but it also means you kind
it
of
doesn't mean that you're
are, because
fake.
that's
You
your
don't have to
thing.
be fake.
It's a
Yes.
group-
No, I
Yeah.
think you should call it the fake ass comedy grift tour. Fuck it.
That would
Honestly,
be funny.
I-
See, that would be funny if you were like, if you made a tour and you were like, we're the right wing grifters. That would be the
Yeah.
funniest show because because it's like it's a play on the situation because
That's actually really funny.
that would be
I
so
think
funny.
I think it's a grift if you change your set depending on what audience you're in. Like
Yeah.
you go with the wind, like, hey, I'm in this town, it's more liberal. I'm going to do a liberal set. But if you're doing your set, you're staying like true to your material and to who you are and what your brand is. It's not a grift. You're delivering what you're selling.
Mhm.
So how is that a grift? If you're selling something and you're delivering on it, then that's
I've
not a
had
grift.
so many people call me a grifter because I had a very organic change from liberal to like anti-woke, more libertarian, whatever you want to call it, pro-Trump. And that process took a couple of years. But I always I noticed the people who call me a grifter the most often are people like far less successful. They have no, and I hate to like say they have no brand, and by brand I mean like they have no voice. They haven't found what their message is, what they believe in. This business is all about like finding who your fans are and
Your
figuring
niche.
out who
They tell you.
wants to
Yeah.
come to you.
Like
Yeah.
what are you putting out there that people are buying? Yeah, absolutely. And
I mean,
think
that's what
grift is being
capitalism
overused
is, right?
so
'Cause,
much.
yeah, like,
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's literally the definition, and I think like that's why people are so. It's weird because like grifting has kind of become this like blanket statement for capitalism. It's like, okay, I found my market. I'm gonna get capital from that market. But then the other side, or even people within that side, are like, oh, you're grifting off of it. It's like, no, that's called capitalism. I'm making money off you because I have something to sell you that you want. So
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
basically, this is literally what, supply and demand, basically.
Yeah, and it's getting to a point where grift is just getting obnoxious. Like I
Yeah.
think someone on Reddit called me a grifter once, and my husband was on there, and he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And like laid out why I wasn't, and the guy backtracked so fast, it was hysterical. He was like, "Well, I didn't mean like in that way," and he's like, "Well, then what way did you mean?" And he had no answer because it's fucking retarded. People just want to use it as a word because they think it makes someone look bad. They're like,
Like,
grifter.
Yeah.
You could, what, we're on the SimpCast right now, like the word simp.
Yeah,
People
it's a
use that word
joke.
all
It's a
the
joke.
time.
I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest problems is nobody has a sense of humor anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Everything, honestly, everything is funny or
Yes.
nothing is funny. That's
Mhm.
fundamentally what I believe. And you might
True.
not have the same sense of humor, but if you like, I wouldn't, let's not make it too heavy, but I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. So like I might not necessarily find every domestic abuse joke funny, and some people might think that like they can't attend a comedy show like that because it might be too triggering. I laugh at that stuff all the time because I have a dark sense of humor. But there might be certain circumstances in your life, like maybe you're African American, you're Black, you have dark skin, you're biopic, whatever. So you don't want to hear jokes about that. That's totally fine. But the to say that like any one joke, like who is the arbiter of like integrity in jokes? Who is to say that like you can make jokes about this but not about this? And like everybody can be uncomfortable by any kind of joke, but jokes by their nature are meant to kind of like take digs at things. And
Humor
if
is
you don't-
subjective. Yeah.
It's subjective,
Exactly.
and also
And to say that like I would never say that like if you can laugh at like a joke about rape or a joke about abortion or a joke about abuse, physical abuse, that like, oh, you're a bad person. That's not true. People deal with things in different ways. So that's what I think, that like the tone policing and the word policing in comedy is such garbage.
Yeah, no, I think that 100% a lot of people take these horrible things and use humor as a way to cope, as a coping mechanism. And
Yeah.
most of the time, comedians have been through these horrific things
They're
themselves.
the
That's
most
why they're
depressed
making
people they tend to
jokes.
be.
Exactly. And they're just out there trying to make people laugh because the world's dark. The world's shitty. Horrible stuff happens all the fucking time. If you can't find a way to laugh at it, you are not going to make it.
Like think of Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham like strikes me as one of the most depressed looking guys that I've ever seen on the internet. But
saw him
he's
live.
hilarious. He spends time, and he almost has like a mathematical equation right to your funny bone. And like it does take a specific kind of person to be into the Bo Burnham style of comedy. But like he knows what he's doing, and like he takes the stuff that makes him depressed and he turns it on its head, and he turns it into something that we can all laugh at together, that can like bring us together, that's like we can all relate under this one thing, because it's like, oh wow, it's so dark, but it's also something that I understand personally.
Well,
I
look
think
at Robin
that-
Williams.
Yeah,
I
Robin
think that
Williams.
there's
Yeah, I think if you're a survivor,
I think that there's a difference between comedy jokes and saying something for shock value. Because I think when you're writing a joke, there's an art to it, okay? And if you have an offensive joke, let's say I have a joke about somebody in wheelchairs, I should be able to say that joke in a room full of people in wheelchairs. That's the difference between a good joke or a joke that's just, if you have a joke about Black people, you should be able to say that joke and everybody in the audience is Black. If your joke only works because there's not the people there that it would offend, then that's just not a skillful joke. You might just be saying it for shock value, but I take comedy very seriously. And sometimes, people will be like, I'll go to these open mics and comedians will be like, oh, I go on stage and I just wing it. And it's like, we don't just wing this. This is skilled. We're writing jokes. And I'm trying to make sure that everybody in the crowd has the best time possible, no matter what your background is, because comedy is an art form, and you're not just going up there to say something shocking to offend people. I think you can make anything funny if you're skilled enough and you take it seriously as an art, but not just to go up there and be like, I'm going to say something super offensive and, oh, you guys can't cancel me because I'm a comic. And it's like, no, that was a shitty joke, and I can call it out for being a shitty joke. It wasn't skilled. So
So
I mean,
I'd actually be curious. I'm so sorry to
Right.
interrupt. I'd be really curious, Lila, and even Chrissy, to hear like what do you think of comics like the Tosh.0s and the Anthony Jeselniks? Like, do you think that falls under the category of shock value, or do you think that actually breaches comedy?
I don't know
I have
who those
not
people are.
seen any of their. I don't know if they're currently touring. I
don't think that
watched
this
a
is
little bit of
older.
Tosh
This is
Point Out, and I
definitely-
remember, I think Jeselnik, I think, was big in the MySpace years.
Yeah, this is. I mean, like, I've
Um,
dated myself by
But
bringing
again, I
up these
haven't
two
watched
specific people.
enough of his stuff.
Well, I
It
bring them up
depends
to
on
say like,
intent, I guess. If you
but like,
watch,
who knows intent? That's what
if
I'm
you watch
saying.
enough
Like,
of
I
their
could
stuff
say,
to know.
right.
So
I
many
think it
comics.
depends.
sell
Like
out.
if you watch enough of someone's stuff to be like, oh, they're just going to be edgy. They're going for the edgy joke rather
Actually,
than
I
like
know.
the craft of it, like Lila was talking about.
Did you guys
know
watch the
you-
Ricky Gervais or Dave Chappelle?
yeah, I watched the
one that
Ricky
just
Gervais
came out?
one.
I was gonna.
I
I was
watched
gonna
that one.
bring up I think Matt Rife needs to stop apologizing for his comedy every single time he goes on a stage, because we know you're a comedian. Just stop talking about it. But a big you actually commented on this recently, Chrissy, like the joke he made where he linked people to the special ed retarded helmets for people who are offended by his comedy. You know what I mean? Like, that could be considered shock value, but that was freaking hilarious.
I thought it was funny.
I think what
was funny.
I struggle with the
Matt
most
Rife
is
isn't.
Somebody said Jimmy Carr. Fuck Jimmy Carr. He's just another fucking sellout. Funny guy, but also I remember him doing a bit where he's like castigating the audience for, are you doing research on the vaccine? You
Yeah,
fucking moron. I was like, you just,
oh
I
my
was like,
god.
fuck you, you fucking shill cocksucker. They so many comics sold out. So like if you go through everybody, I mean, I'm watching. I'm
too
introducing.
True.
I'm introducing Julia to Strangers with Candy. We've been watching it for the last. That's probably the most un-PC show ever put on television, and it was fucking Stephen Colbert. And there's so much racial and to see what he's become, dancing with syringes and just being a government shill.
Yeah.
You see Jimmy Kimmel's like
disgusting.
Jimmy Carr is a fucking hack too. What's his name? The Australian
Trevor
dude.
Noah. Oh,
They just well, he was never funny to me. But he's like,
yeah, that's what I mean. He deserves to
They're
be.
very
Pharrell.
good. All those guys are very good examples of how if the mainstream and the establishment buttresses you into success and gives you the bulk of your bag, right? Like
Yeah.
you will bend the knee to them at some point. Matt Rife is an interesting case because you could say he is fundamentally self-made because he blew up on TikTok, but now he got picked up by very good management enough to completely pre-sell an entire global tour for 2024. And if he is apologizing more, I wonder if it's because he is feeling that, wow, I'm making millions and these guys have my nuts. And that's why, like, I guess I really resent being called a grifter because, like, people like me and Lila are in the position that we're in because we specifically put our necks out for free speech against the lockdowns, against the vaccines. And we could have kept our mouths shut. We could have said the right things. We could have got picked up by cushy management and be on tour or be opening for like a Burt Kreischer or opening on getting on like a Netflix festival or something. And that would all be taken care of. Like, there's a reason why Lila and I don't have dates every single weekend. It's because we say the things that we say, and all of our gigs are literally things that we have to like scratch for and get ourselves, and everything every single gig is fought for. And then, you know, if you want to package yourself in a way like, yeah, I'm free speech, I'm anti-woke, just because you're trying to like market yourself and find your own fans, and it's like you're doing your best despite being outside of that machine and outside the establishment, and then to still get called a grifter really boils my blood, because it's like,
you gotta just change the term grifter for yourself, Chrissy.
I hope you don't. I hope I didn't
call ourselves free speech because our dates would be booked out.
I'm just saying you gotta just turn like take the term grifter and like change it for yourself, like the definition. Like
that's sort of what I was saying.
Says like hustle. Like you're a hustler. You're not a grifter. Like that's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I saw that.
And you have a great market and you've done great marketing for yourself. You're not a grifter, obviously, but I mean, all of us in this space have been called grifter for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
And it's just like being called racist or transphobe or fucking homophobe or whatever else, because we've been called
that's exactly
that
it. Yeah.
entire time. It's like, it's just fine. Then I am. Like, just own it and be like, fine, whatever. I am what I am. But going back to your, like the previous conversation, what I think what I struggle with the most when it comes to comedy is like the idea when people joke, like they don't joke about something, like they say something, and then when it's perceived badly, they're like, oh, I was just joking.
Well,
Like,
that's
like,
a different thing. That's not comedians. I feel like that's the point of comedians is they're legitimately going into it with the intention of trying to make someone laugh. That's the point of being a comedian. If you're just a person and you're just making statements, then you're just an asshole. Like
that was John Stewart's shtick. He would say something serious, and then if he got blown out, if his argument got blown out of the water,
Exactly,
he'd go, "What are you listening to me for? I'm just a comedian." It's like, no,
Yeah.
Well, they hide under the title of infotainment. They hide under this, like, so I hope I didn't offend. I really am sorry if like you felt like I was calling you guys grifters or whatever. I that's not.
To go back to what Nina was saying, I think it's interesting how I feel like a lot of people do that on Twitter. Well, they'll make like a bold statement or say something like really offensive and then call themselves comedians. And it's like, no, you're just a fucking troll. Is what you are. So don't call yourself a comedian, and that you're really just saying the most offensive shit, that there's no joke in it. And then you're like, oh, that's just my online personality. And it's like, oh, being a troll is not the same thing as being a stand-up comedian. And I just think that there's so much more of an art to it when you're in person and you're on, like, people now on social media, we get these like little clips, but when you're in a room and it's just you and the mic, and if there's no camera, it's a totally different art form than what is on Twitter. And also, just to say about Matt Rife, I think it's great what he's done. He's built his audience, he's used TikTok. My only gripe that I have with him, and as I saw this picture of some girl that went to his comedy show where he performed at places that had vaccine mandates, and he signed her vaccine card as like a thank you for coming to my show. So it's like, that's my only thing that I'm upset about is
really,
I just feel like I just feel like a lot of people moved up in the comedy world who didn't speak out or say anything. And it's like, but like, again, before I left LA, I performed at the Ford Amphitheater in front of 800 people. There were a lot of bookers and agents there. All the people that I performed with went on to perform, to open for Joe Coy and do all sorts of things. I was the only unvaccinated performer. I was the only person that said I didn't believe in masks. And I moved to Texas, and then me and Chrissie connected. So it's like, yes, I did lose stuff, but I am grateful that I spoke out against things. It's just weird how I feel like now we're in 2024 and people are acting as if 2020 didn't happen and we're just supposed to be back into this comedy world. And it's like, you're in your position because you didn't say anything and you're still not saying anything. And so it is offensive when me and Chrissie are being called grifters, when it's like, we're the furthest freaking people from grifting, because we could have grifted on with a fake vaccine card. Okay. I could have grifted with a fake vaccine card and promoted this to all my disabled followers. You know, I lost 6,000 fans in one day because I said I don't believe in masks. And I had followers who have disabilities who wrote me that, oh my God, Lila, you're killing us. You're killing people. I was solely responsible for the deaths of millions of people, because how dare I say that wearing a mask should be a choice or getting vaccinated should
everyone's
be a choice.
grandma.
Nice.
don't you feel a little vindicated
Lila,
now?
It's not just the people. It's not just the people who were pro-vaccine, like the late night hosts, and right, like if Jimmy Carr was too. It's like, what really like fucking pisses me off is the majority, which was the silent people in the middle, that they were not penalized for not taking a stand. They got to be quiet and get by with their vaccine cards, and guess what? They made out just fine, and they didn't get penalized for sticking their neck out. And it's almost like they have just as much success as the outwardly vocal pro-vaccine crowd.
Yeah, and I also don't think this whole idea of like grifting to have an audience by saying what you believe in and being anti-vax and free pro-free speech and all of that is that's not going to get you the mainstream success that would actually make you more successful. You're taking the harder road. It's not like you're doing it and being like, cool, now money's just going to come flowing in. You're like, now you have to work way harder. You have to build your own audience from the ground fucking up because there's not as many eyes on you. You don't have a team behind you to get you out there. You're not getting deals on platforms where there are millions of built-in followers. You have to do it all yourself. It is way fucking harder. So people think that they're doing that just to make money are retarded because you could have gone the other. That would have been way easier to go the other way.
Yeah.
They often say too that like the people that are talking bad about you are people who are always doing worse than you. And I'm not just saying that as like the mom that's like, oh, the bully actually likes you. But I'm saying like people who feel compelled to say that you're doing things just for the money are not so successful themselves, and they see
why
you
wouldn't you be
being
doing things for
able
the money?
to well,
I don't understand what's wrong with making money. I'm so sick.
Exactly, Lila.
I am sick of this making up pretending to be poor so that they get more sympathy. Like, what if I want to be successful? What if I want to drive a nice car and have a nice house? What is wrong with that? Why are we
goddamn straight?
Exactly, Lila.
They think that they're the arbiters.
Money, damn it! Call me a grifter as long as I'm getting paid. I'm over this. I gotta be this. Oh, I don't know.
I'm with you, Lila.
With making money. Let's make money in 2024. I'm tired of doing shit for free. I'm tired of going to venues and getting paid in pizza. Okay, I want to get actually paid. I think we've paid our dues enough, and there's no need to. There's nothing wrong with making money. And let's
that's exactly what I've been saying. It's capitalism. There's nothing wrong with making money. If you're gonna market yourself towards the anti-woke crowd, if you're gonna market yourself towards the woke crowd, whatever is your thing, go and market yourself and make the fucking money. Who cares? Like, just make money and that's it.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.